Well, hello, my dear friend, and welcome to the channel. I'm Kat, artist, founder of Create Magazine, and Art Queens, as well as a certified master coach. Today, I just want to catch up. It's honestly been a minute since I shared what I've been up to. I uploaded some shorts and some podcasts here and there, but I haven't really chatted with you all, and I'm excited to share some fun updates. Nothing really that crazy, but I think it's going to inspire you. And I think if you're feeling stuck in your life, or maybe you've been going through a tough season, I hope that this lifts you up. A few months ago, my dear friend Tanya sent me a text and she's like, hey, I'm going to be going to Paris. Do you want to join me? She had an exhibition there. And at first I was like, I better stay home and focus on my business. But then my intuition said, no, you need to get out of the house and you need to go see the world. You need to meet people. You've been stagnant. You've just been sitting here working yourself to the bone with little to show for it. So at first I didn't really respond to her, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? Screw it, let's go. So I immediately bought a ticket, booked a hotel, and I just kind of did it in faith. I was like, I don't really know if this is the right thing to do right now, but I'm just gonna go for it. And so in October, it was the week of Art Basel in Paris. I took a flight, I came down to Paris, and the adventures began. Not only did I get to hang out with Tanya the entire week, I did not sleep that entire week. I'm not even exaggerating. I slept for 1 hour. I could not sleep. I was so overstimulated and excited, and it was totally worth it. We were up talking all night. I also got to meet one of our art queens, Melissa Guile. I also got to hang out with my friend Geeta Joshi from London, and I got to meet incredible people. So Tanya had an exhibition at Galleries Barrow, and we got to meet her friends that were also in the show. One of our collectors, Sonia Burrell, who was on the podcast recently. Check out that episode if you haven't. And this trip truly opened up so many doors for me, brought so many new friendships, connections, inspiration, and ideas, both from my creative business as well as from my own personal art. And something that I really loved about this trip was, even though I was in this grand city, I love Paris. It's so over the top. It's so opulent and extravagant and sometimes so extra. I found that the art scene during this week, I know everyone from around the world was there, I felt it was really accessible. Now, don't get me wrong, of course, there were the Jeff Koonses and the craziness of the Art Basel, but there were also really beautiful small gems, the local pop-up galleries, and so I just took it all in. Geeta and I took some time to walk around. We attended a panel on curating in a digital age. We got coffee and champagne, and I personally had the best time sketching in French cafes. And that was a fantasy of mine. That's what I consider the biggest kind of birthday gift this year, is that I got to go, and I didn't make tons of sketches, but just those moments that I gave myself to sit down and take in the sounds and the smells and the delicious taste of Paris, and just to be present without any agenda to sell, to market, just enjoying living like an artist rather than forcing things or making things for sales only or for projects only, but just being an artist. It was such an incredible gift. And so if you have an opportunity, if there's something that you enjoy doing that's creative, but doesn't have a direct outcome to money or career advancement, but you find it really fulfilling and it gives you life, it gives you energy, it gives you hope, go do that, please. Don't wait. Life is so short. It's flying by, and I want you to fully enjoy it. And so I am so grateful that I gave myself this gift. It doesn't have to be Paris. That lesson of how much joy I have can be translated to my local park, to our local cafes, to a beautiful scenic spot near my house. It does not have to be an epic trip. In my case, it was a very epic trip, but it was such a treat. And I'm so, so grateful. I did not take it for granted. And then the conversations that came out of my adventures in Paris, late nights having wine and cheese, too much cheese. I swear I became allergic to cheese on this trip. Just talking about the art world and what we hope to see change in it, how we want to show up as artists. We talked about giving ourselves permission to make radically different work. And even though, these landscapes aren't necessarily radical, they're lovely to me, but they are very safe still. I am really inspired in the coming years to really push my practice, to get more honest, to get more vocal about what I love, to push my creativity and my imagination rather than playing it safe as an artist. And so there are so many gifts and ahas and inspiring moments that I am still processing from that trip. So I wanted to share, and I'm going to be sharing these clips from the trip as well, but I wanted just to tell you guys, because sometimes, like I said, we get so stuck in our daily grind and our challenges that we need, especially someone like me. I'm a Sagittarius, first of all. And in human design, I'm a manifesting generator. I thrive off experiences. I need to live. And when I live, whether it's going out camping to our local state park or going on a beautiful trip overseas or hiking in the Canadian mountains with Alicia, like all those trips, they are the food and the fuel that then I transmute years later sometimes. Sometimes it's not like I come back instantly. And I bring them back into my art, and sometimes it takes a long time. But that fuel is so important for me as an artist. So whatever your fuel is, maybe it's reading, maybe it's experiencing music, maybe it's being in nature, give yourself those gifts. They don't have to be expensive. They can be daily moments or weekly moments or monthly moments that we give ourselves. And I really am going to be sticking to this as well. And so one of the things that happened in Paris too, is when I was at the main Basel, I was really inspired by a multitude of things. One, the vast variety of scale and media and types of art that there were. And after seeing all the different ways of successful, global artists making their work, I felt really liberated. I started painting on unstriped canvas just for the sake of being in the practice, being in the studio. I started to go outside and do plein air on small panels. And I really expanded my range. And I always had this, but I just consciously said, I'm going to be making all the work that I want to make. I'm no longer going to filter myself. I'm going to carve out time for non-commercial work to experiment and to be an artist. And it feels so, so amazing to be living like this. And I'll be honest, there were years where I really just wanted to quote unquote make it. And I was really chasing that success. And it served me in some ways. And I had some awesome experiences and opportunities because of it. But it also feels good right now as I'm getting older to just have a really balanced life, both in my health and in my art practice and in my business. And so as I started to do that, ironically, and not ironically, because I told you guys, this is how I heal things. I have to go and live. I have to be happy. I have to be inspired. I came back and my business started taking off. My partner and I, Sean, he's been helping me rebrand my coaching offer. So I'm going to be working on that in the next few months. And stay tuned for very accessible, broken down versions of all my courses, because I realized that not everyone can afford a $1,000 course. And so I wanted to break it up into different parts to make it more accessible for people. And also people have different needs. Someone might not need my entire big course, but they want to learn a part of it. And so I got so much clarity on that, and I'm really getting into it and writing right now. And we're working on the design templates with Shelby. Shout out to Shelby from Maple Project. And it's really, really exciting. Although one thing did happen that's not really fun, and I will also share this as an update. So I went and I was training for a full marathon. I ran a half marathon when I came back from Paris. And then like an idiot, I didn't rest enough. And the same week, I know it's really silly, I ran 50 miles and then I went to the gym. Don't do that, please. And so I learned my lesson. I typically am pretty good at listening to my body, but I think I was just, I don't know what was going on in my mindset that day, but I hurt my back pretty bad and I haven't been able to walk for a few days. Luckily, because I do work out, my back is very strong. So they've been able to adjust it and I'm taking it easy and easing back into my training. But I just also wanted to share something interesting that happened. I am coming from a background of deep insecurities, both about my body and myself, and I'm healing that. And I'm doing a lot of research on nutrition, its effects on our mental health, its effects on our creativity, as well as the effects of our words and mindset on our health. And at first I was like, oh my God, I've ruined everything. Now I can't do this marathon. I was very disappointed. Not only could I not do the marathon, I couldn't really paint or do anything at all for a whole week almost. And I couldn't even walk. And in that moment, I just decided to surrender. And I decided that, well, since I can't run, I'm just going to start going outside and doing these plein air paintings when I'm comfortable, either sitting or standing when I was feeling better. And then I started to also notice that my negative thoughts and my negative self-talk was not helping. We all know the power of our words. And so I started to talk kindly and gently to myself and really taking care. And miraculously, I'm almost all better. And it really proved to me how, whether it's about our art practice or our creative business or our body, how important it is to be kind and to speak truth, speak life, speak love about yourself and your work. And so as we end up this year, whether or not you met your goals and you crushed them and surpassed them, or maybe like me, you really didn't even come close, it's okay. Let's celebrate the things that are working. Let's honor the magical moments that we've had and recognize the abundance and the opportunities and the connections and the blessings that might not be monetized, right? Maybe they're not anything to do with business, finance, or some kind of metrics that we use, but maybe they are friendships. Maybe they're moments in nature that money truly can't buy. Maybe it's our health. Maybe it's our pets, our loved ones. And speaking kindly to the parts that are not working. You know, it's really easy to be nice to ourselves when we're doing great, when we're crushing it, when we're, in sports, maybe you're hitting PRs, and maybe in your art practice, you're just selling your work like hotcakes and media people are lining up at your door. But when it's not happening, it's so tempting to be down on yourself, to punish yourself. And so I invite you to join me in practicing kindness and speaking life and love and care about every part of our life. Because do you know, there is scientific evidence that if we're not accepting a part of ourselves and if we're rejecting it, it actually is 100 times more likely to be sticky and become a pattern. So rather than judging or criticizing or trying to manipulate yourself out of change, try just accepting yourself radically, just as the way that you are right now. And then if it feels good to shift into a different version of yourself or strive towards a different result, then it's going to come together for you and it's going to open doors in a very gentle way, right? There's a phrase that we may hear, and that is, what we resist persists. So don't try to push things with resistance, but rather practice radical self-acceptance in all areas, in your art business, in your practice, in your relationships, and it will start to change because love is so much more powerful than hate. I truly believe that and stand by that. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this little update. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what resonated in the comments and let me know what you want to hear from me next.